So, B'Shem Hashem, Na'aseh v'Natzliach. Today is the yahrzeit of Or Shiraga ben Shemuel, famous, 226 years of his passing. The shiur is dedicated to his neshama, that Hashem zechuto yeh magen alenu. There's an interesting story, it's brought down in a few different places, about this elder Talmid Chacham, that when he was younger, he says his father was one of the main builders of one of the cities in Eretz Israel. He built the first 20 buildings in that city, where at that time one of the biggest companies right now still in Israel is called Solel Boneh. At that time they only built 25 buildings. He built 20 buildings in that place. And that was we're going back like in the 20s, even 1920s, yeah. And so he lived in the city of Yafo, and one of the biggest investments of building a building would be the cement. Israel at that time, they didn't have cement yet in Israel itself. They would have to bring it in by ship, and it would be very costly. That was the main expense of building. So he ordered a large sum of cement from abroad, and it arrived on Friday in the port. And the way it arrived would be in barrels, and they're all open. The barrels are all open, just cement. And okay. It was in the beginning of the summer. Everything was good. Everything is great. And when everything was delivered to the construction site, and all the workers came back to Yafo, suddenly clouds started forming, and it seemed quite dangerous that rain is going to come. The timing, they timed it in a way that it would arrive in the summer. There's no danger of rain, and suddenly, this thing came, and so all the workers came to him and said, "Listen, you have a lot of cement, and it's sitting over there in open barrels, and if rain comes, everything is going to go down the drain. It's totally going to be could you imagine an unimaginable amount of loss is going to happen?" So they said, "Listen, please, let us go. We'll take wagons. We'll put the planks on them. We'll go cover all the things so that he sat down. He calculated. He says, no, it's going to be Chilul Shabbat, because by the time you go and come back, it's going to be Chilul Shabbat. I don't want you to do it." He was very, very God-fearing. He says, I will not sell Shabbat for no matter how much of a loss it is. And I'm telling you, I don't want any of the Jewish workers over here, none of you, most of them were Jews, I don't want any of you to be Mechalel Shabbat for me to save my money. Nothing. And sure enough, Friday night, there was rain, there was plenty of rain, and it was obvious that everything was lost. But he showed no remorse, showed no sadness, nothing. His Shabbat was Shabbat. He was singing Devar Torah, learned with his children Chumash, Rashi. He did everything as if nothing whatsoever happened. Nothing. Right after Shabbat, though, as soon as he made Havdalah, he is now worried. He's oh boy, I gotta go see the losses. What? So he got a wagon, and he traveled to the construction site. When he gets there, he's shocked. He sees everything is covered. Everything, all the cement that he had bought, is all covered with planks and rocks on top of it. It's perfectly covered. He couldn't believe his eyes. And he went and he checked it out. Everything is dry. Everything is perfect. He says, "Oh no, who knows who did this? Who did this for us and everything?" And he wasn't sure yet what's going on. Later, throughout the week, they found out that Solel Boneh, that was a huge company, they sent their people, their Jewish workers, they forced them to go and to cover their cement, but it was dark, it was night, they covered his cement, and their own cement got totally destroyed. And this is how Hashem saved, big thing. Yachin Rasha, but Tzaddik Yilbash. Right? That's in Pasuk in Iyov. Famous Pasuk. Rasha is a person who does Averot. He'll do everything. He'll do all the prep work. But at the end, the Tzaddik is the one that's going to wear that garment. And that's Zechut of Shabbat. Big Zechut of Shabbat. That a person... It depends. In some cases, yeah. In some cases, if they do it on their own, you can't tell them to go on Shabbat. That's asur. But if they go on their own, they know they're gonna get reimbursed for their thing. It's they're doing it for their own benefit.
In this scenario, let's say it was not Shabbat
yet.
Yeah,
in that scenario.
You had working for you, and you just let them.
There's a Mishnah in Masechet Shabbat. Mishnah in Masechet Shabbat says that a person in this scenario could say, Kol hamatzil enon mafsid. Whoever will save will not lose. That means he will be reimbursed. So then that shows that he's not telling them directly to do it. Mustafa, I want you to go and do this. But the way he's doing it is by way of just an announcement that whoever does, he can't hint directly at them. He has to say it in a manner that he's not talking directly to them. And they also have to realize that they're doing it for their own pocket. They're not doing it for him. They're just doing it for.
What I'm asking is to say it's like half an hour for Shabbat, and you know it's if they start doing it, it's going to be Shabbat. So are you allowed to just tell them, because the way it seemed like that he was far away from wherever the site was, he didn't want him to continue doing it because it's going to defer the Shabbat. So what I'm asking is, would someone be able to tell his workers that are going to save his property if it's gonna, by them saving it, it's gonna continue, that it's gonna be Shabbat? Would he be able
So
to
that goes into the halakha of, are you allowed to tell a goy from before Shabbat to do something on Shabbat? Amirat Akum doesn't matter. Even if you tell him on Sunday, I want you to do this on Shabbat, that's asur.
You cannot.
Can't do it. It's the same thing. It's
but
not as
a
hint, not directly. A hint that is in a manner of a command also is asur. It has to be a hint that is not a commanding manner. Like the language in the Mishnah, Kol hamatzil, whoever saves is not going to lose. Like that. But if he says, it would be nice if you could do that, that would be good. We're in Halachot of Kiddush. If a person has a doubt if he made Kiddush or on Friday night or not, his mind is not there, the halakha is that we say that he doesn't go back. He doesn't go back and make Kiddush again. All he's going to do is say some pesukim like V'echol Hashemayim v'ha'aretz, V'shabru b'nei Yisrael, pesukim that have to do with Shabbat, and the rest of it he doesn't say, because the chiyuv of saying Kiddush from the Oraita, from the Torah, is as long as he mentions the pesukim, he announces Shabbat, he proclaims Shabbat, he is yotzeh. The beracha is rabbinic. So therefore, we're saying that if a person forgot to make Kiddush, then in that case, we'll tell him, listen, don't go back. You don't need to go back and repeat Kiddush because of this. If a lady did not pray Arvit of Friday night, now they got busy, something happened, whatever it is, she's not sure if she heard Kiddush or not. So she doesn't have Arvit. She's not sure about Kiddush. What do? The halakha is the same thing. That she could just say some pesukim, right? And with that, she could perform the mitzvah of Kiddush, at least on the Torah level. Midirabanan, we say, listen, we're not sure. You said, I'm not going to make you make a beracha just because you're not sure if you made Kiddush or not. However, the best thing is, if she can, to say Arvit. Right? To say Arvit, and in Arvit, she should have a kavanah that here I am going to be performing the mitzvah of Kiddush by praying Arvit. That she could do. Now, there is an issue. Friday night in Arvit, if you ever pay attention in the Siddur, we say Zecher L'Maaseh Bereshit. Friday night Arvit is Zecher L'Maaseh Bereshit. It's for the creation. During the day we say Zecher L'Yetziat Mitzrayim. However, when we're making Kiddush, we have to mention L'Yetziat Mitzrayim as well. We have to mention Exodus as well. Not only the creation of the world. So when she's praying Arvit for Kiddush and she wants to have Kiddush in mind, the best thing is to say Chemdat Yamim Oto Karata Zecher L'Maaseh Bereshit Vezecher L'Yetziat Mitzrayim. There you mention both creation and Exodus, both. So that's the best thing to do when a person wants to be Yotzei Kiddush Friday night by praying Arvit. That would be the best thing. Now, this part is not in the Siddur. In the Siddur it just says Zecher L'Maaseh Bereshit. That's the only thing that's mentioned in the Siddur. When we are doing it for Kiddush, we should also mention the Yetziat Mitzrayim as well, the Exodus. Now, if a person made Kiddush already, and now they want to go visit a family, friend, whatever it is, and they don't know how to say Kiddush, right? Are they allowed to make Kiddush for them? The answer is, because we say Kol Yisrael Aravim Zeh B'zeh, everyone is connected to one another, and we are all guarantors for one another. So, in the case that they don't know how to, let's say you have a neighbor, elderly lady, and she doesn't know how to read. She doesn't know how to make Kiddush. So you could go, even a lady could go to her next door neighbor and make Kiddush for her, even though she already heard Kiddush, right? Now, if you already made Kiddush, fine, then you could also drink the wine. But if you didn't make Kiddush, and you want to make Kiddush for her first, and then your family comes, you want to be Yotzei Kiddush. So there's a few possibilities. One is that you go to her, and you make Kiddush for her, and you drink the whole cup. Make it on grape juice, drink the whole cup. This cup now, we're going to explain later, when you drink a cup of revi'it of wine, that is considered Kiddush b'makom seudah. We're going to discuss that more later. The halakha is that you cannot make Kiddush unless this Kiddush is in a place that you're going to have a seudah. That's why you have to have mezonot, let's say, when you're making Kiddush, so that this mezonot, this cake, cookie, whatever it is considered a seudah. Otherwise, the Kiddush is baracha lebatala. What kind of a Kiddush is this? If it's not a Kiddush in a place of a seudah, it's just a borei gefen. A person is not yotzei, does not perform the mitzvah of Kiddush. So what can we do to avoid that? The person doesn't want to have cake, doesn't want to eat the cookies, cake and stuff. He could drink a revi'it. Revi'it is 3 ounces. Drinks 3 ounces of the cup, of the wine, grape juice, whatever it is. With that, the person is yotzei Kiddush. Is yotzei Kiddush in the place of seudah? No problem. And then they could go home and make Kiddush for the family.
Sorry, Rabbi.
Yes.
What if someone is diabetic or has issues with sugar that they cannot have? It's still 3 ounces of Kiddush, it's a lot of sugar.
Yes.
So what should they do?
They should have someone else make Kiddush for them, wherever possible, of course. This is a huge boost of sugar. Grape juice in any form. It's like, unless they could have, what is it, the bitter wine. What is it called? Dry wine. Dry wine, I think has a very low sugar
And
content.
what about challah? Also, like I know a person who is not allowed to have any
Gluten?
white bread. No, they are gluten-free white bread, and whether even not have whole wheat. It's all turns to sugar, and she's not allowed to have it. So I know that she has a lot of problem with hamotzi on Shabbat.
So in that case, they have to see, for sometimes spelt matzah for them could be okay. But if it's going to be, if they have an issue with any carbohydrates, then their health comes first. They can't have. We're talking about something of a serious issue. If they talk to the doctor to see how they could work it, then at least on Shabbat, if not the whole, throughout the week, okay, we could manage. But at least on Shabbat, if you could have a certain amount of carbohydrates, then, yeah, it's true. Carbohydrates, they turn to sugar at the end. Very true. Right. Now, let's go back to the Kiddush. The second option is that they could go to their neighbor's house, make Kiddush for them, but don't drink from the wine at all. Don't drink from the wine at all, right? Let the person that's being Yotzeh, let them drink at least most of the Revi'it. Revi'it, we said, is how much? 3 ounces. So the person that's being Yotzeh the Kiddush, she will drink most of that. That means a little bit over 1.5 ounces of the wine or grape juice, and they're Yotzeh, right? In that case, the person making Kiddush is not Yotzeh at all, because all that person did was read for the other person, right? But there is no such a thing that we say, okay, you know what, you drink a little bit of it, and then give the rest to the other person, because that's not gonna do anything. Because me making Kiddush and not drinking a full cup, I'm not Yotzeh Kiddush, then and then there's no Kiddush here. There was no mitzvah of Kiddush taking place unless one person had it Kiddush B'Makom Seudah. So again, either you are Yotzeh Kiddush by drinking that cup of wine, or you're not Yotzeh Kiddush, then you cannot drink at all. You let the other person drink that cup, and these are the two options that a person has when you want to be Motzi the other person for Kiddush. Okay. Now, when a person finishes making Kiddush, right, this is either man or woman, whoever it is, they must drink most of the cup, right? Most of the cup, that means you have a cup that holds 3 ounces, you should drink at least 1.5 ounces, a little bit over 1.5 ounces. What if it's hard for the person to drink that amount? If it's wine, especially, like, grape juice is much easier, but if it's wine, it's tougher to drink that amount. So what can a person do? Then he would be allowed to give it to one of the people present to drink that amount. That means another person, this is tier number 2. First level is the person that's making Kiddush, himself or herself, they should drink most of that wine. If they can't drink it, they give it to someone else to drink that amount. Then the next level is, like, that there is no one here that could drink it. Let's say, example, the wine is extremely strong, and they have a hard time to drink it. I don't know, it's 21% alcohol, very dry wine, and it doesn't fit their palate. They have a hard time to drink it. So, bediavad, if each person just takes a sip and they finish that amount, then you don't have to say Kiddush again. It's not the good thing to do. It's not a correct thing to do. But we say, listen, if you did that, you don't have to go back and make Kiddush.
That's how they used to do it in Iran.
What?
That's how they used to do it in Iran.
Yeah, but that's...
No one ever had so much wine.
Yeah, they used to pass it
Just
around.
pass it around, no?
Right.
So in Israel, some families do that. But Rabbi, why is it 3 ounces? Like, 3 ounces, it's a lot. Like, I can take a piece of, like, any small one and I can say bracha. How come for wine it's 3 ounces, it's something like that? It's a lot to be yotzeh. Why can't we do less?
Because drinking is considered when it's melul lugmav. Melul lugmav, that means you need 1 cheekful to be, that it should be enough to be considered drinking. The other one is called te'ima. It's just tasting.
Right, so for tasting you don't say blessing.
For tasting you don't have to, we discussed this before.
Like whenever I tasted my food, I used to say bracha, and then my son says you're not allowed, you're not supposed to say for tasting.
Right, we spoke about it here also. It depends. If you want to have pleasure from it, if you're having pleasure from what you're tasting, you know how it tastes, then you make a bracha on it. But if you're just doing it to taste, to see if it's good or not, then you don't make a bracha on it, even if you eat a lot, because you're just tasting. Drinking the wine, to be able to perform the mitzvah on the wine, you need to drink it. And drinking requires melo lugmav. Melo lugmav means most rov revi'it. Rov revi'it, that means a little bit over 1.5 ounces. That's what we need. For havdalah, you need more. For havdalah, here we're going to be washing our hands and making hamotzi. For havdalah, because you're not going to be washing your hand and making hamotzi, then you need to drink the full 3 ounces in order to make a bracha or not. You're not there yet. Right now we're talking about Kiddush. Kiddush is enough. It's sufficient if a person drinks Rov Revi'id, which is a little bit more than 1.5 ounces, which is really not much.
1.5 ounces is enough.
1.5 ounces.
But you have to fill it with 3 ounces, let's say small.
Your cup has to hold at least 3 ounces. If it could hold less than 3 ounces, it's not considered a cup. Halachically, yes.
Is it the same rule for Pesach with the 4 cups, or do we have to drink?
Same thing. That you need to drink at least 1.5 ounces. 1.5 ounces, at least. That's Rov Revi'id. You need to drink that much.
So the minimum that one should drink is 1.5 ounces.
The one that's making Kiddush. Now, everybody else present, they don't have to drink at all.
Yeah, you say by
There you say by the person that's making Kiddush drinking, they're fine. However, what we do is we call it Chibuv Mitzvah. We show that we love the mitzvah. Like, that's why everyone takes a sip from the wine. Like, that's number one. Number two, it's brought down in the Gemara Masechet Berachot that drinking the wine of Friday night is a refuah, right? It's a healing for the eyes, right? Because the person
for Kiddush.
of Kiddush, right? If a person, no, Kiddush of Friday night. If a person, it says over there in the Gemara, a person runs and exerts himself during the week, he loses 1/500 of power of his eyesight. And the Gemara asks, what is the remedy? And they say the remedy is to drink the wine of Friday night Kiddush. And that's now.
That's for the person that makes it Kiddush, right?
No, everyone. That's why other people could drink, or should drink if they want to have that remedy.
And that doesn't mean about how much.
No, just a sip, just a tiny sip. That's fine.
Rabbi, I know that Hashchata is a big thing in our
Bal Tashchit.
Tashchit. Right, so how, like a lot of wine usually goes in the garbage in my house. Like they have a sip after saying Havdalah, the rest goes in the garbage. Like say, they make it food, not on Erev Shabbat when I have guests, obviously. But if I don't have guests and I don't drink it, it goes in the garbage. It goes every Shabbat. It's just the hashkata that it bothers me.
So there's a few solutions to that. Number one, get yourself a very small cup, 3-ounce cup, right? That's number one for sure. Because if there's no other person to drink, then you're right, it's going to be a waste. Number two, what you could do is you could drink from it, right, and save it. You drink enough. A person that makes Kiddush or Havdalah, they have to drink definitely enough to be Yotzei the Mitzvah. If Friday night a person doesn't drink, it's b'diavad. It's like really b'diavad if they don't drink at least most of their revi'it. That means 1.5 ounces. They have to drink that. So let's say they drank 1.5 ounces, and the rest, is there. You could definitely keep it in the container. Next week you could make Kiddush on this again by adding more wine to it. Yes, 100%. Why should you waste it?
You could also put it just on top of it and put it on the
I hear that when you say Kiddush, you must cover all the bottle because then the Kiddush it goes on the bottle also.
No, it's not true. You should cover it so that it's covered.
Like I remember once, a few times that happened, that the bottle was open and someone was saying Kiddush and they said, stop, let's close it because then it's like you're saying Kiddush on the whole bottle.
That's great. Even more barakah goes on it. It's awesome.
Yeah,
No.
I heard this too, but then they're like, no, it was wrong. Somebody said you couldn't pass this around.
No worries.
I'm so happy to hear that because I'm really machmir on that. And after that, I do it myself. No, let's close it.
Okay. Yeah, why not? It's even better. Now, an interesting halakha, which is not really connected to halachot of Shabbat, but it pertains to every time, you're drinking. Shulchan Aruch, Siman Kuf Ayin, 170. This is not in halachot Shabbat. Halachot Shabbat starts from 250. Okay? This is 170. Orach Chaim. Halakha Shulchan Aruch says, Lo yishteh ma'akos, a person should not drink from a cup, ve'yiten lechavero, and give it to someone else. Why? Mipnei sakanat nefashot, because this is a danger to the other person's life. And they explain, what does that mean? Because maybe the other person is very sensitive. And you give him you just drank from a cup of wine, cup of orange juice, whatever it is, and you give it to him to drink. Now, he feels embarrassed not to want to drink from it, but he's very sensitive. He's very, let's call it OCD, call it whatever you want. And he's embarrassed not to drink from you, and he takes it and drinks it, and inside is bothering him. Poor thing, he could be in danger. He could get sick. He could be in danger. That's why a person should not give another person to drink from his cup unless the other person asks for it, right? And it happens. A person, we call him Farsi Rudar Vaisi. A person, you give him the cup of wine, he's not gonna want to say no, and they drink it. But they're extremely sensitive, and you have to be very, very careful. This could happen in any setting. You're at a party, you're at a Brit Milah, you're at a wedding, whatever it is, people drink. If they want to drink on their own, they ask for it, that's okay. But if they're not asking for it, you give it to them, it could go into this halakha that is asur. It's asur to do that. If you're making kiddush at home everybody knows each other. It's family. Over there it's not a problem. But if you have guests, let's say you have your son-in-law, you have your daughter-in-law, you have your cousin, that's not usually there. And then we gotta be very careful with this. So what should we do? The person making kiddush makes kiddush. Okay? And then as soon as they make kiddush, they pour it in the cup and then they drink from it. They drink from the cup. Better to drink from the cup that you make kiddush on. That has a certain importance to it. And then that cup that you poured into, which you didn't touch at all, then from there you could add more wine to it and give it to everybody else. Present. It's extremely important. In shul, they're making kiddush. And while you're making, when you make kiddush, you give your cup, you drink from the cup, and you give it to someone else to drink. It's improper. It's improper, and halachically, Maran Shulchan Aruch says that it's not a good thing to do. This is something that we need to be extra careful, to do that. Baruch Hashem, in many shuls they put in these little cups, and that does the job. Perfect. If a person that's making kiddush spoke before he drank, he sees his kid is doing something, and he's about to finish kiddush, and he says, "Hey, don't go, don't do this, that." What should they do? Beracha Borei Pri Gefen only. Kiddush they don't have to make again. Kiddush they were yotzeh. But the Beracha Borei Pri Gefen, they have to make the Beracha again and then drink the wine. That's the person that drank from the wine. That made Kiddush. The person that made Kiddush. What about the other people? There are people around the table and they spoke. Right? So it depends. If the person making Kiddush already drank and they spoke, so okay, they were yotzeh. They don't have to drink from the cup, from the wine, and they're perfectly fine. Okay? You have everybody around the table. Someone spoke by mistake. Okay, Chazak Baruch. You're yotzeh Kiddush. You don't have to drink. Yalla. It's perfectly fine. However, if they want to drink, they say, no, my eyes, I want to drink. Okay, make it Borei Pri Gefen. You spoke, so that's a hefsek. You cut between my Borei Pri Gefen and your drinking. So you need to make your beracha Borei Pri Gefen and drink.
It's okay. They really actually are people because I want to drink it because of my eyes. They know that it has such a.
Yeah, sure, of course.
I read it in the cocktail, but I thought it had Havdalah also, they say you have to put it on certain eyes.
Havdalah is something else. Havdalah, we're going to get to it. Gemara says, Gemara Masachet Sukkah, other places says, Sheyare mitzvah ma'akevin et ha'puraniyot. Right? Leftovers of mitzvot, they push off horrible things from happening. That means, look how important a mitzvah is. Even the leftover of it is it pushes off terrible gezerot, terrible decrees, terrible things. Just the leftovers. And that's why, when you make Havdalah, Ramah brings in the Shulchan Aruch that you pour water over the leftover wine and you wash your face with it, even to have such a thing.
There is such a thing?
Yeah, it is. You know how we dip our fingers in it and we put it on the eyes, on the. There's a whole thing, different sefarim they bring down. This is just the leftover of the mitzvah. Imagine what the mitzvah itself is.
So you put over water and you just wash
They
it?
pour water over it. This is the Ramah. Ramah brings this. It's not
Some people practice it?
I've seen it. Yeah, people do it. They wash their face with it. It's a big deal.
You're not supposed to throw it out?
No. Why throw it out? This
So
is
what
a
do you
couple.
do? Aside from washing it.
Just it's ma'akef puraniyot. It's
So what do
very
you do?
important.
Let's say, for example,
We drink it up. I drink everything.
I'm sorry?
I drink everything. I just leave very little.
Oh, you put very little.
Very little to put the candle out. Why? But
Whatever is
tashkid.
left, what do you do? If it's whatever is left.
We dip our fingers and everything, and by then already it's gone. It's very little.
Fingers and you put on your eyes and
It says to put on the eye and say, what is it? Ha'aver chatati ma'alai, and then ani ma'amin be'emunah shelema. Different things, different old sidurim that have different pesukim.
Behind your ears?
Whatever you want. Stick it in your pocket so you have more money. I don't know. Whatever.
And then just like about water, I didn't understand. You put
We'll get to it. We're not in Havdalah yet. But I'm just saying,
practice it next week.
Havdalah, we'll see. It says, that's why, it's a famous thing. A lot of Mekubalim do this, like, the Arafah. Arafah, from Hoshan Rabbah, that they hit the ground with. It's Mekubalim, they have a lot. This is the Shiareh mitzvah. This is like a leftover of a mitzvah that they hit the Arafah. A lot of Mekubalim, they use this, even a tiny piece of the leaf. They give it to people. Of course, they had a lot of kavanot when they did it, but it's also the same exact idea. Shiareh mitzvah ma'akemet ha'praniyut. It was known. The Achiezer, Rabbi Chaim Moshe Grodzinsky, when the Jewish soldiers were going to battle back in Europe before World War II, he would give them a little piece of his arava, little piece. They would go, not one person was hurt. They all came back shalom. It was a very dangerous time.
Some people put it like in their purses. In their
Sure,
pajamas.
yeah, of course. This is extremely important. People keep it in their homes and also in their pockets. This is exactly the same concept. The mitzvah, look what the mitzvah is. Look at how important the mitzvah is. The shiareh mitzvah, the leftovers of a mitzvah, look what they do. You can imagine the rest of it. Now, a person making kiddush, and oops, the cup fell. What should they do? The cup fell, everything spilled. Okay? So they got up, Yom HaShishi, V'echol HaShemayim Ba'aretz, Baruch Atah Hashem, Rafram, Borei Pei HaGefen, Baruch Atah Asher Kedeshanu, Baruch Hashem, Mekadesh HaShabbat. He is about to drink, the cup is very slippery, and the whole thing slipped, and everything spilled. What should they do? Pour another cup, and make it Borei Peri HaGefen, and drink it.
Because of the hepsin?
Because it's a different wine.
Different one.
However, if there is a little bit in the cup, you don't need to, because you made the barakah on that wine that was in the cup. There's a little bit left, you're fine. You don't have to make a barakah again. Drink that, and if you want pour more to it, no barakah. Okay? This is talking if there is no wine left in the cup, then you need to pour another cup and make it borei pei gefen and drink. But if there is a little bit wine in the cup left, then you don't have to make a barakah again, and it's good enough.
Even if it is less than 1.5.
Yes, for sure. Just add to it. Add to it. Right? If the wine spilled on the table, what do? Just take a little bit of that. Or with a spoon or something, drink it. Again, you don't have to make a barakah again. All of this is if a person is not used to drinking wine during the meal. If a person always drinks wine during the meal as well, then when you made the borei peri hagefen, you had kavanah, you had intention on that wine and that wine and that wine that's on the table as well. In this case, you don't make a barakah anymore, because anyway, I had intention to drink more wine. Many people that I know, they don't drink wine during the meal. So when they're making borei peri hagefen during kiddush, they don't have the other wine that's on that's here on the thing. This wine I only bring for kiddush. Baruch Hashem made kiddush, we put it away. That's it. Then they don't have intention on more wine. In this case, depends. If there is a little bit more wine in the cup, don't make a barakah. If there is a little bit of wine spilled on the table, just drink a little bit of that, you're fine. Right? And then you add more, you drink enough. Right? No barakah. But if you always drink more wine, then when you made the borei peri hagefen, that borei peri hagefen goes on the wine that's on the table, then you don't have to make a borei peri hagefen at all. Was that clear? Okay. If the wine that you have is, you taste it and you say, wait a minute, this is not wine. And this is a grape drink. As you know, grape drinks is mostly chemicals. It's not even, there's no grape juice in it. Right? And you say, what is this? This is a Yachad Kollel. It's not borei peri hagefen. What's the halachot? You're not Yotzei Kiddush. Right? because this is not wine. This is just water, right? So you need to again make a beracha of borei peri gefen and say kiddush as well, because the whole thing is one thing and it was a mistake. But again, this is an interesting halacha. You made borei peri gefen on this drink. This drink is really Yachad Kollel, but you have wine on the table, and you normally do drink wine. And when you had the borei peri gefen, you had in mind that wine that is on the table as well. Then you're fine. You're Yotze Kiddush.
And if you don't have in mind,
Then
you have to
it depends. Again, you don't have to have in mind. If you normally drink, that's good enough. That's the point. If you normally drink wine, then obviously you have that in mind. Then you're fine. You don't have to make another borei peri gefen. So from this halacha, it seems like it's really worthwhile to drink wine during the meal. It'll save us a lot of trouble.
Rabbi, can I go back a little bit?
Yes.
For us, after we say the kiddush, they say the halakhat ne'od. I'm sorry to say it before and I missed it. Are we allowed to eat until kiddush, or what is the halakha? I mean, someone says we can drink water, some says we can drink tea, but not anything. So I don't know. Sometimes like it takes time until they come from shul, and I want to drink water. I don't know. Am I allowed to, or I'm not allowed to?
That's a good question. I'm also confused. Let's see. What did we say?
You're not supposed to.
Water is okay.
Water we said is okay, right? It depends when. If it's after Tzedek Kochavim, if it's before Tzedek Kochavim, a person could eat and drink if they're very hungry. But if it's after Tzedek Kochavim, then
How many minutes after? Which is
it's
20
like
minutes after?
the 15 minutes after sunset.
15 minutes
Right.
before that.
Let's find it.
So you are not allowed to even drink water,
To drink water, they say you're allowed to.
but tea no, like tea or coffee.
Water and tea are the same. As long as, like,
Even if it's sweetened,
sweetened, that's a good question. Okay.
you don't drink tea without.
So, if a person accepted Shabbat earlier, and they're very thirsty or hungry, they're allowed to eat or drink all the way until Tzedek Kochavim, until the stars come out. But if they accept the Shabbat with its Sibur, with everyone else, right, then they cannot drink until they make Kiddush. Right?
So tzedek kochavim Shabbat נכנס 4:30, and tzedek kochavim it's 5:30, let's say. So until 5:30.
No, Shabbat nichnas 4:30. That means you're talking about halakhat nerot, lighting the candles.
Yeah.
So lighting the candles is 18 minutes before sunset. That means sunset is what time?
It's 4:30.
4:30 plus 18. That's 4:48. Right. So let's say 4:48 is sunset. So from sunset you have 15 minutes. 15 minutes after that, let's say, give or take, is Tzedek Kochavim.
15 minutes.
15 minutes, right?
So it's 18 plus 15. It's 30.
It's usually less, especially now in the winter. It's probably around, I'd say, 10 minutes. Tzedek Kochavim, but I'm just rounding.
28 minutes, 30 minutes.
After candle lighting, about, give or take. So once once you hit that, then a person cannot eat. Drinking, I remember seeing somewhere that you're still allowed, but I would have to check. You're not allowed to drink. What if a person is extremely thirsty? So we said, make kiddush. Make kiddush. Yeah, we said that. You're right. Make kiddush and drink.
And in the morning, I have this is
Same.
really a weakness that I have. In the morning when I get up on Shabbat, before going to shul, if I go, I need to eat something. I cannot go without eating.
So best
So
thing.
usually I don't do kiddush. I just do the bracha night.
So that depends. We're gonna discuss it more. It depends really, if you always pray or not. If you don't usually pray shacharit, let's say, then really the obligation of kiddush comes. Ladies don't have the prohibition of eating before tefillah. They don't have that prohibition. The obligation of kiddush comes once you pray to Hashem. Once you pray, then you're obligated to make kiddush. So if you say the barachot of the morning, right? That's somewhat prayer. Then the best thing for you to do is just take a cup of grape juice, make kiddush, have whatever you want. You want to have cholent, you want to have polocharesh, you want to have gundi, you want to have whatever you want to have, no problem. Eat your heart
I
out.
thought it was opposite way around. I thought that I cannot eat before Birkot HaShachar. So I do Birkot HaShachar on Shabbat, and then I eat something, then I go to shul.
So make Birkot HaShachar, make kiddush, eat whatever you want, then go to shul.
So if I do before Birkot HaShachar, I can eat.
According to many, yes.
Wow,
But I think in those situations you don't want to make kiddush to the.
I don't want to make it because it's a lot of sugar.
You see, that's the problem.
Ah,
But
okay.
if usually, like I was saying, but if you daven before, if you eat before davening, so you don't have that problem, right?
Right. If you eat before you say anything, you're fine.
Yeah, I thought opposite way around.
So the
So you're not allowed to eat until you say Birkat HaShachar in the morning.
Why?
Something I heard.